Hi there, welcome to Cocktail Mode, the podcast where me, Andy, and my good mate Dave pick a retro game and try and pair it with a cocktail. Today's game is one of the most ubiquitous games of the late 80s, California games by Epix. We'll talk about quite a few of the different versions that we played over the years and recently, and get some thoughts on how they've stood up to the test of time, won't we, Dave?
Or not, as the case may be.
Spoilers, the Spectrum version's awful. You were quite excited about playing California games.
I was.
Yeah, I get the impression from our messages in the week and from what you said in the 5 minutes before we started recording that you're not quite so excited about California games anymore.
It's a horrible, horrible game. It fucking hates you. There's no let up. There's no intro. There's no take it easy. This is how the game works. No, straight in, fail, dead, next event. Although, having said that, you can practice each event individually, obviously.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucking awful at this game. And I think I always was.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was always quite good at surfing. I got surfing figured out,
Yes.
fairly good, but I don't think I was ever actually good at it. And the half pipe, I have memories of being good at the half pipe. I'm not anymore. I can't get it. I just can't figure out like the timing and the speed of it. It's really weird. And it's on every version as well.
Oh, okay.
It's not like it's to a specific version that's slower or faster than all the others or anything like that. I'm fucking awful at the game on every possible platform I played it on. And I'm not alone. Everybody who goes back and plays this, all like the sort of YouTube videos and things that I've sort of read about it, all say the same thing. The games are fucking hard. You've really got to really put the effort in to play it and get used to it and figure it out. And then you might stand a chance of getting 2 or 3 points. For instance, I was playing the Master System version, which was very good. I quite enjoyed that, actually.
Isn't it? Yes.
I've never really had a Master System game that I can say this is a good version.
Yeah.
And I was playing that, got all the way through all the events, awful in all of them. Apart from footbag. I've always been quite good at footbag.
Yes.
Because I understand the concepts and how it works. Whereas most of the other games are just fucking, alchemy. I got to the flying disc.
Flying disc.
Because I know you're going to start fucking correcting me on that straight away.
Well, it's just copyright, isn't it? We don't want to get Epix in trouble, do we?
Here's the thing. We've had this conversation before where you corrected me and said, oh no, it's flying disc, it's footbag, it's blah, blah, blah. When you pick a sponsor at the start of each game, Frisbee Official is one of the fucking sponsors. How does that work?
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous. The event is Frisbee and you've got the name Frisbee in there. Call it Frisbee.
I think in one of the versions it might be called Frisbee, but I could be wrong. I've played so many, it kind of blurred a bit into one, apart from the particularly horrible ones, which I'm sure we'll get onto. Anyway.
Coming back to the Frisbee, as I will now be calling it, I couldn't quite figure out how to get the speed bit at the start. Yeah. Because there's no instructions or anything. You just chucked it in and away you go.
There isn't, because you're playing on an emulator. If you got the manual, it tells you how to do it.
Which I wouldn't have read when I was a kid anyway. I'd have looked up the keys or the buttons. So yeah, I was just got the speed figured out where to sort of preempt where the button should be pressed for the height and everything. Great, okay, I'll start to figure out the speed and the angle to get it where it needs to go. Right, now let's figure out how to catch it. And no word of a lie, I was on practice mode on the Master System version of the Frisbee for an hour before I got a single catch. And in that hour, I heard the music, the insipid, horrible music that plays over that section of the game fucking hundreds of times. I'm going to start getting flashbacks to that hour throughout the rest of my life. It was an awful experience.
Does the Master System music on that bit play for the whole event?
Yes.
My favourite version of this is the Commodore version, and there's a couple of other versions that do it as well. But on the Commodore version, the music plays while you stand there doing nothing, and as soon as you throw the Frisbee, it fades out. And I quite like it. I think it's quite a cool little thing, and you just get the shush, 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 or the whatever the shit sound effect is of the Frisbee spinning. And that's all you get, and I quite like that. But yeah, I didn't realise on the Master System. I had played it, and I was very impressed by it. I don't remember that.
It's a very good version.
I reckon we'll get on to which is the best in that, but it's one of the best.
Yeah, I thought so.
I preferred it to the Mega Drive.
I tried the Mega Drive version and wasn't keen. Came away from it quite quick.
Yeah, there are fewer events, obviously, and the music's all over the place. But it's just, I think they tried to sort of add some some animation and things like that to give it a little bit of extra zhuzh, and it kind of slows it down a bit. So it's a bit of an odd one.
Well, it's different developers, isn't it? Every time it jumps to a new system, well, not every time. We'll come back to that. There's one developer for like 4 systems. There's one developer for this Mega Drive. There's one developer for the NES.
Yeah.
And then the Lynx with its glorious version is another one.
This is finally the episode where I don't have to crowbar in references to the Atari Lynx.
Yeah.
Because it's just spectacular. Which surely you didn't have as much trouble playing as the others.
I didn't get it. I didn't get an emulator for it. I watched a video that compares all the different versions, and it does look good. It looks quite different, especially the half pipe. The half pipe looks really cool. The way it sort of zooms in from the start and then follows. Yeah. Whereas every other version is a static picture of the half pipe. I guess there's nothing to animate then, is there?
No. Oh, I guess the Mega Drive one's got that traffic in the background, doesn't it? For absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Literally, we've got nothing better to do. Let's put some background animation in there.
And completely against the vibe of the game as well, because normally it should be like a beach, shouldn't it, or something. But no, here's some fucking cars going down a motorway. Yeah, you were saying that everyone who goes back and plays it hates it.
I wouldn't say hates it. A lot of people struggle with it.
Yeah,
because it's quite obtuse. It's quite, you've got to know how to play it. It won't teach you.
Yes, I think if you've not played it before, or you've not played it for a very long time, I can see that. I haven't played it a lot for a very long time, but I reckon I've dipped into it, particularly on the Lynx, sort of in and out quite a bit over the years.
Yeah.
Well, I had it on the Commodore 128, which was fantastic because it was disk drive, so you could play through everything and not have to load every individual event on a cassette.
Yep.
So that was brilliant as well. Anyway, I basically, one of the sort of nerdiest ironies of all time, I wasted an entire summer in my bedroom playing California games rather than leaving the house and playing some actual games. I don't think I played much else.
Really?
On the Commodore 128, my brother got off a mate of his and had for a little while. Certainly for a long, long time, I didn't play much else. And when I went back to the Commodore 128 version, it didn't take me very long for the muscle memory should have been rusty as all hell, but it wasn't. It didn't take very long at all. And I was kick turning off the top of the screen on the timing alone like I used to. I wanted to play some other versions, so I didn't play it for too long, but I managed to do a run on the half pipe with only bailing once, and the rest of it just constantly just kick turning backwards and forwards. It all came back pretty soon. I was scoring like 8s and 9s on the surfing, and
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just
I couldn't get above a 2.
Again, there are things that I remember that you get points for surfing under the wave and for going the wrong way along the wave, and for obviously for jumps and spins and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, yeah, you're right. It is very, very hard. I mean, the whole thing with the surfing where you've got to come back onto the wave at the exact opposite angle to what you went up it at. You can't be like one fraction of a rotation out and you're off.
From what I saw, you can on the NES version.
You can also on the Lynx version. It's much more forgiving. I did play the NES because I think I've got it. It's one of those games that I'd only really played to a great extent on the Lynx and the Commodore. But I kind of, because I've got such a nostalgia for it, and I'm not going to hide from that, it's full nostalgia for this game. I absolutely love it. It holds great memories for me. I kind of pick it up whenever I see it, as long as it's not stupid money.
And you haven't already got it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have got 8 physical versions of California games.
Wow.
I have Commodore 64, Commodore Amiga, Atari Lynx, NES, Master System, Mega Drive, Atari 2600, which it turns out looks god-awful, but is actually quite good.
Yeah, that's not a pretty game to look at.
No, it's horrible, but the BMX bit's brilliant. It's really good fun to play. It's nothing like any of the other versions, but it's very, very cool. I also, for my sins, own the ZX Spectrum version.
How does that play?
It's a fucking abomination. It probably plays worse than it looks. Which, that's saying a lot, because that is a fucking hideous video game. And honestly, it's awful. Yeah. It's awful. I love the Spectrum. I always go for the Spectrum first and foremost, especially over the Commodore, but God, it's terrible. Genuinely terrible.
Is that you looking at it now, or did you always know it was terrible? or did you convince yourself otherwise?
No, I didn't really play it back in the day because I had the Commodore version, and that's what I played. Because we didn't have the Commodore and the Spectrum at the same time.
Got you.
These were both computers. My brother got the Spectrum, and then I think he sort of part swapped it for the Commodore 128. So we never had the two at the same time. So I hadn't played it on the Spectrum before I got rid of it. I played it after. So I did play it a while ago, but not when it was current. I bought it on the fact that it was California Games. And then, having never seen it, having never looked at it, just assuming that, hey, it's the Spectrum version. Of course it's going to be great. God, it's awful. It's embarrassingly awful.
Yeah.
The crash being the primary source for ZX Spectrum game reviews, scored California Games on the Spectrum 36%.
Oh,
I think that's generous.
I was going to say, is that a generous one?
I think that might be generous. Yeah. I mean, to reflect our experience, the C64 and Master System versions are the highest scoring. So at the time, it was recognised that those were the two best versions. And I remember my neighbour had it on the Master System a little while after I'd had the Commodore 128. So yeah, the Master System would have been pretty old at the time, but it had quite a long life, the Master System, didn't it? It didn't die off.
Yeah, they were still making games for it after the Mega Drive came out.
Yeah.
Sonic got retrospectively ported to it.
And it might be difficult to, I believe, if you're listening to us from America, the Master System, I'm fairly sure, was much more popular than the NES in the UK. But it was sold, I think, at the same time as the Genesis as like a budget alternative. So for people who couldn't afford the Mega Drive, they got bought a Master System. Also, one of my favourite looking consoles, the original Master System. Such a great looking thing.
It shares a lot of its stuff with the Spectrum, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because the Spectrum light gun was the Master System light gun.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Well, I remember seeing California Games on the Master System at the time and thinking that the Master System was a much better console than it actually was, because it's a beautiful looking Master System game. It's really great. Plays really well. God, that controller was horrible on the Master System though. Yeah, it had a horrible D-pad. Thanks, Nintendo. You fucking patent, you pricks. And a horrible, completely square D-pad, and not very much fun to use. It's nice to see those review scores and see that we're talking sense for once in our lives.
Well,
unlike Sinclair User, which to me was always the dog of the ZX Spectrum magazine, scored it 8 out of 10.
Oh, is this one of those examples where they've been paid to review it without playing it?
I mean, probably. I mean, that's atrocious. That is a barefaced lie. I think it's nice to see how things were received at the time, but it's also sometimes fun to look back and go, what the fuck were you on?
How much were you paid?
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Ask me about the Amstrad version.
How's the Amstrad version, Dave?
Fucking terrible.
Isn't it?
Thing is, I have fond memories of playing it.
Yeah. See, this is the interesting thing, isn't it?
Obviously, the quality was the best I had ever seen the game.
Yeah.
In other words, the only version I'd ever played.
But it's like a coloured-in version of the Spectrum.
Yes. There was a separate company that did the Spectrum, the Amstrad, I think it's the ST, and another one. And they're all awful. They're the horrible versions. Choice were the developer that made the awful ones.
Choice Software.
The ones that are like a single company did a single version, like Rare did the NES one, and it's quite good. Whoever did the Master System one, quite good.
So Choice Software, it turns out, were basically a company who ported games from one system to another. That's pretty much all they did.
Yeah.
God knows how they got work on the basis of what I've seen. I tell you what, this has sort of reminded me of one of the most interesting things. I went down the Epix rabbit hole. Really interesting story about Epix, a company. Well, I'm not going to go into it here because it's quite long-winded, but definitely if you're interested in that sort of era, late 70s to very early 90s or late 80s of games, dig up some reading or other podcasts or whatever you can find on Epix, because they're a really fascinating sort of history of them.
I didn't realise they'd made hardware.
Ah, yes. What hardware did they make?
They made an Atari compatible joystick and nothing else that's worth mentioning. They may have invented the Atari Lynx.
an albatross for them because it basically put them out of business.
But how many times have you heard that, though? A software company thinks, oh, we'll make our own hardware, and it doesn't end well.
No, absolutely. I think back then they were one of the first to do it, and they weren't. They were successful. I mean, they were doing very well, and at their peak, they were in the top 20 software companies in the world. But there weren't a lot of software companies around back then, so it wasn't really as big a deal as it sounds. But yeah, it was a big shout, and it all went a bit fucking wrong, and they ended up selling it to Atari, who then stopped paying them, and it all just went to shit, unfortunately. But they left us with the magnificent Atari Lynx.
Yeah,
we've talked before about how our American listeners, or Americans who aren't listening in general, talk about something called the software crash, the games crash, and that didn't exist in the UK or Europe.
Or Japan.
It never happened. We were booming. Yeah, it was just an American
It was
thing.
isolated to America.
And Epic survived it because they very early doors started making or licensing software into the European market. So they were going before the crash in America, and they survived it because they were smart enough to pop out Impossible Mission. Is the game that really got them through the crash, because it was a massive success, and Impossible Mission 2, obviously. Look into the history of Epics if you're interested in that sort of thing, because it's a really fascinating sort of 10 years. They went from being one of the biggest software companies around to being dead. No one's even licensed the name, because Atari isn't Atari anymore, is it? And people pick stuff up, but no one's bothered with Epics. It's quite a cool name. I guess maybe Epic might stop them.
Don't know. I mean, it's EPYX.
I know, but I think with modern fucking copyright law, so I want to make video games. What's it called? Epics. I think Epic would fire up the lawyers pretty quick, even though it's spelt differently and it's not the same word. I reckon you'd be getting phone calls pretty quick. There was a game. It was called Pray for the Gods. This is why I know that Epic would be on the phone if you tried to license the Epic's name to release your games. And this game was called Pray for the Gods, and whoever makes the game Pray fired up the lawyers and got them to change the spelling.
Oh, yeah, it's something like PRAEY, isn't it?
Yeah, the A and the E sort of smushed together in that
maelstrom.
Yes, that's thing. So yeah, they had to do that because the developers of Prey got on their case, which is just fucking it's shit, isn't it? It's really shitty practice.
It's pathetic. It really is.
So California Games was pretty much the last in the series that is always referred to as the games, which I quite like.
The games.
The games, because there was Summer Games, Winter Games, World Games, and a couple of sequels. And all that. Did you have a look or play any of those?
I didn't, and I'm not sure I ever have.
Have you not?
Because I was reading up on them a little bit, and I thought, I don't remember these. I don't remember having them. And I don't remember anybody else having them on anything.
I definitely played World Games.
Yeah.
Which I'd forgotten because I went and played it and was like, oh yeah, it's a cliff jumping that I remembered. Had clear memories of. I think I probably played Winter Games because I remember the speed skating as well, which is the same sort of left to right motion as the rollerblading or roller skating, sorry.
Roller skating. Rollerblades hadn't been invented yet.
No, they hadn't.
Sorry, inline skates. Rollerblade is a one of those copyrighted name things that we use instead of the actual thing.
Like Hoover.
So, yeah, whenever you're riding on your rollerblades and looking edgy in 90s, or you're in a tampon commercial, one or the other, you're actually riding on your inline skates. Unless you specifically own rollerblade ones.
Yes, on the subject of skating, that's a frustrating event.
That's my personal hell. The roller skating in California Games is quite literally harder than Dark Souls. I finished 5 Dark Souls games. Well, Souls games. I cannot do the fucking roller skating on California Games. Doesn't work in my head. But I got the motion bit. Okay, yeah, up, down, to skate and then like move within the sort of plane of the thing you're on and jump over all the shit. I just hated it so much. I couldn't learn how to play it properly and do the tricks. I've seen videos of people doing some amazing stuff on there and just thought, well done, fair play to you. I'm not putting the effort in at all to learn this. I remember hating it back in the Amstrad days, and I hated it still now. So my opinion hasn't changed on that one.
It's always been my least favourite. I don't hate it that much.
Awful. It's truly bad. I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who likes that.
Yeah, I think, especially if you look at the other events and go, that one's my favourite. You just, come on. I think surfing is definitely the most accessible.
Yes.
Especially because, like you say, it's weird how, to me, in the different events, your lives or your whatever it is works differently almost for every event. It's like the hacky sack, you can drop that ball as often as you like. You wait, the timer runs out, and that doesn't matter. You could stand there doing nothing for a minute and a half, and you wouldn't do anything. And the surfing, you get a time limit and 3 deaths.
Yeah.
But some of the others, you've one and done. That's it.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Oh, frisbee by definition is one shot, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised, going back to frisbee, just to annoy you, how easy I found it.
Fuck you.
I remember it being much, much harder.
It's impossible, I tell you.
As I say, I think it's just like in my memory, your normal memory, my short-term memory is atrocious and my long-term memory is pretty good. And it seems that's the same for my muscle memory as well, because literally smashing out the half pipe and the surfing and the frisbee in no time at all. And I was really aware of the different timings on the different versions.
Yes.
Particularly on the half pipe and the foot bag, the hacky
I was going to say, foot bag, the gravity seems to be a bit different on each one.
Yeah.
The speed of movement of the bag, I guess. Hacky sack. I don't know what to call it. The thing in foot bag.
I mean, just say ball.
It's not a ball.
I mean, it is a ball.
It's a bean bag.
Yeah, but it's a ball-shaped bean bag.
Well, actually, no. More often than not, they're sort of squarish.
They are quite squarish, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Ever owned a hacky sack?
I may have had, actually.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I think I had one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I think that's what, and obviously owned a frisbee.
Oh, yeah, everybody owns a frisbee.
Every man and his dog owned a frisbee.
Yeah.
I never owned a proper BMX either. An actual BMX.
Ooh, I had 2 when I was about 7, I think. I got a Rally Dingo. I still remember it to this day. Black and yellow with like the plastic wheels that you used to get on 80s BMXs.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I thought I was in the BMX Bandits. I was the shit. Whereas actually, I was just shit.
Ask me what I thought of BMX Bandits.
Nicole Kidman's best film.
I've never seen it.
Have you not?
I've never seen BMX Bandits, and it's not. To Die For is Nicole Kidman.
It's Nicole Kidman's first film.
It's her first film, yeah. It's not her best.
Of course it's not a best film. It's nobody's best film. Nobody involved in anything of BMX Bandits is their best film.
Any pedants out there who want to get on IMDb and check Dave's logic and leave us a comment, that would be awesome. But yeah, I never owned one. I had a Boxer. Which was
what's a Boxer?
I seem to remember a Boxer was like an entry level BMX. It was like a kid's size BMX, I think.
Okay.
Happy to be corrected, but yeah, because all our bikes and things like that always came second hand out of newspaper or something like that. So we had, I remember an old racing bike we had. I think I learned on a racing bike. We had a chopper at one point, but yeah, never had an actual BMX. Never owned one.
Oh, Christmas coming up. Yeah. You're 50. Oh, that's a proper midlife crisis. Buy your first ever BMX.
With stunt pegs and everything. Back pedal brakes.
Oh. You'll be happy to know that the guy who directed BMX Bandits has never directed anything of any quality. He's still making films in 2014. He's made some truly, truly awful sounding films. He made a film in 1978 called Stunt Rock. Australia's top stuntman Grant Page travels to Hollywood to shoot a TV show while showing off his various dangerous stunts, interspersed with a rock band concert and other sketches. I've got to find that. That sounds awesome. I'm liking your work, Brian Trenchard Smith. Quentin Tarantino referred to him in Entertainment Weekly as one of his favourite directors. Do you need to be sick?
How many fiction films involving extreme sports are actually good?
Oh, none. Have you ever seen Gleaming the Cube?
I have not seen Gleaming the Cube. It sounds like a euphemism.
Don't change that. Don't watch it. It's fucking terrible. It's an very early Christian Slater film.
Oh, okay.
Where he's a skateboarder, and I'm pretty sure there's a gang of villains who kidnap somebody or do something. But fuck me, that's one of the worst films I've ever seen.
I'd need to watch it now. I guess the closest you're going to get, Point Break isn't bad.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
But the thing is, people love it. And if you're out there and you love Point Break, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as people make out.
It's one of the favourite films of Nick Frost's character in Hot Fuzz, who is portrayed as a pathetic man-child.
Right.
That should tell you all you need to know about Point Break.
If you love Point Break, Dave did not just call you a pathetic man-child.
No, I called Nick Frost's character in Hot Fuzz a pathetic man-child.
Yes, just wanted to be clear on that. We love you, and your taste in films is unique and special.
Just like everyone else's.
Did you ever play a game called Night Games?
Night Games, it's familiar.
So that's night with a K.
I was just about to say, is it night with a K?
Yeah.
Jousting and various different things in it.
Yeah, it was basically...
Yeah, I think it did.
I haven't gone back and played it, so I had a quick look at a video. I basically somehow, even though it's been 2 weeks since we last recorded, run out of time. But that's another game I had on the Commodore 64. And it's basically this whole California games, the summer games, the winter games things and all that, but with medieval sports. And I seem to remember it being quite good. On Lemon, which is the Commodore 64 / Amiga / VIC-20 resource, it's got a user rating of 6.3. It's not part of the whole Epics thing. It's just... a
shameless ripoff.
Wasn't particularly well received at the time either, it turns out. But I remember playing it, and particularly there was, I think one of the events, I think it was... like staff. It was basically maybe like a 3/4 staff or something it's called, basically stick fighting. And I seem to remember playing that quite a lot, but I was a little bit obsessed with beat 'em ups at that time of my life, so it may not have actually been any good. It was 1986. How does that fit? Because California Games was
87. Yeah, it's Summer Games 84, Winter Games 84, Summer Games 2, 85, then World Games 86. Yeah, there's been a blah, blah, blah games for a while.
They churned them out.
Yeah.
And they made an absolute fortune off them as well. They were incredibly popular. I genuinely believe that the Summer and Winter games were very good. And they were certainly brilliantly presented. The animation was a cut above anything else out there at the time. And that's it was Epic's calling card for a little while. They acquired, when they merged with another company, a guy who was working on a human being animation. That was his little pet project. And when you see Impossible Mission, the animation on Impossible Mission compared to its stuff like Mario and all that sort of stuff, which are its contemporaries. There's not a lot of time, and then you go from this little squat little geezer badly animated to a proportional human being moving like a human being in Impossible Mission.
Yeah,
it was pretty advanced for the time, and the characters in the games like almost look rotoscoped. They're not, but they almost look it. They're really fluid and really nicely animated. They're very classy products, I think.
Sorry, I'm watching Night Games. This looks really good fun.
Yeah, there's an archery I can see from my screenshot I'm looking at.
There's archery and crossbow.
Yes. So there's a screenshot. So yeah, the one I'm thinking of, the stick fighting thing, is
that hasn't come up yet. I haven't seen it.
It's called Quarterstaff. I've just remembered it's not. For some reason, seeing the screenshot has reminded me that it was called Quarterstaff. I'm just going to assume that if I loaded it up now and played the archery game, I'd be instantly brilliant at it, like I am at real archery.
You will have to elaborate on that.
Yes. So we have just had the first cocktail mode AGM, which was a 30-second...
APU, annual piss up.
Yes. Well, it's not going to be annual, is it? It's going to be more often than that. Probably quarterly. The QPU. As I mentioned, headed up to Leicester to go to the Retro Computer Museum and their super special, fantastic, fabulous day. And we had a bit of a packed agenda, but part of that was Dave is a keen archerist.
Toxopholite.
Bless you. And so he took me to have a go at archering. I don't know the technical side of it, but basically we'd come up with an idea on a previous conversation that before I hit 50, I should hit an archery target from 100 meters,
100 yards.
100 yards, hit an archery target. So we sort of set about doing that. And yeah, quite easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, knocked out in about an hour.
Yeah, which, come on.
I was telling people at the club last night when we had a sort of a club evening where we all meet up. I said, mate Andy had a go on Friday and got a hit at 100 yards. And everybody just sort of looked around and said, "I want to have a go." I was like, yeah. We weren't fucking about.
I mean, it's too easy before that. Can I just point out that before I started pinging off arrows at this target, Dave wasn't even sure I'd be able to reach it, let alone hit it.
With the equipment you had, it is a minor miracle you even got there.
Yeah, and I was shooting over it as well. So,
yep.
Really good fun. If you've got like an archery club near you that has like open days and that, go and have a go. It's really good fun. I also murdered a rubber meerkat. That was a lot.
Was it one in the eye, one in the heart, one in the balls, or something?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 out of 5 arrows in this rubber meerkat. It was a lot closer than 100 yards, mind. Just putting that out there. It was a lot closer. I could have thrown the arrow into it from there. But yes, really good fun. I recommend archery. Have a go because it is. It's a fun thing, and the people who do it, like Dave and his mates, hi to you lot. Really nice, passionate, friendly people.
Mm-hmm.
We ran a little cocktail bar for them after all that, and that went down a storm as well. So yeah, that was my natural ability at archery shining through.
Or your superior coach.
Yes, absolutely. Behind every lucky archer, there's a patient coach.
Quietly questioning every choice he's ever made in life.
But yeah, support your local archery club. Go and have a go. You might love it.
It's a good laugh.
It is. It really is. It's a really nice community it seems to have. But yeah, sorry, random aside. But actually, no, we can carry on with the random side because what is it actually called? Because it seems to be a quarterly event they do.
The Retro Computer Museum's world famous legendary gathering.
Asterisk, not actually world famous or legendary.
I'd say it was legendary because we turned up.
Yeah, we had a great time.
It was brilliant.
Really busy, a lot busier than I was expecting. It's a couple of units, sort of 2.5 units at the back of an industrial estate on the outskirts of Leicester, which sounds like I'm doing it down. I'm not, but that's what it is. And I think you've got to sort of have that image in your head to be amazed that when you open the door and just again how friendly and open, and a room full of classic PCs and consoles, and a room for playing Quake. Was it Quake?
Yeah, Quake.
They all look the same to me.
Which we didn't play.
No, I don't do PC games. A mouse is for work, not for games.
This is for fighting, this is for fun.
And they've got a little arcade out the back as well, which we spent most of our time in playing Outrun 2.
Outrun 2 and talking to Simon, who is the most knowledgeable man on the planet.
Yes, Simon is both a very, very knowledgeable man about arcade games in general, but also we think, and he very timidly admitted to, the world's foremost expert on virtuality VR machines. We're desperate to get him on the show. That's Dave's task is to get Simon on the show. We're very much a software first podcast, but that will be a hardware episode all the way. So yeah, I really hope we can get him on because he absolutely fascinating bloke. Everything he knows and talked about was really, really interesting if you're into that sort of a thing. We got there, when did we rock up? 10, half 10, something like that?
Yeah, it was definitely before midday, about 11, I think.
Spend the day there, and it's sort of at 3 o'clock, it sort of thinned out.
Yeah, they basically had to kick us out, didn't they, after closing?
Yeah. From 3 o'clock till 8 o'clock, we basically sat around talking with it's a charity. It's run completely by volunteers. So yeah, really, really cool just to sit around and chat with them and have a good laugh. Won a couple of very bang average Atari games in their raffle. Didn't bid on the signed Crystal Xbox because there was a kid, like a literal kid, winning it at the time, and I couldn't bring myself to bid against this child and take his dream away. I genuinely looked at that kid and how excited he was, and I couldn't bring myself to shout out. Which was exactly the kind of event it was. It was all very sort of nice and friendly and happy and great.
Yeah.
If there's anybody listening who went, if there's anybody listening involved, thank you very much. I had a great time. I know there's a couple of people noticed us because I registered us for a thing. Well, I want to give this a shout out as well. The Retro Directory, which is a worldwide thing. It's clearly sort of most signed up for in the UK, but I think you can just put Retro Directory in Google and it will come up. But it shows all the arcades and shops and sort of independent stuff, obviously. Well, I guess NQ64 and what's the other one? Four Quarters. They're not exactly retro, but it's good to know where these things are. Like all around the country, all around Europe, all around the world, if you sign up for it, it just shows you where they are, what's near to you, and that sort of thing. Really cool little resource run by a guy called Rob Smith, runs Retro Directory. He's got lots of YouTube channels and things like that. I haven't checked them out yet, but I'm interested to see. He makes Commodore Amiga games, it seems. So it could be that that's somebody else I tap up to come on an episode at some point.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because there is a content creators, I hate that term, but there's a subset of things on this where you can put your podcast and that on the Retro Directory. So I've added us to that. And he messaged me back and he said he saw me and Dave at the Retro Computer Museum and meant to come over and say hi and never got round to it. So it's that kind of, it is a very much community event like that. And if you're wondering how we knew it was us, how did he know it was us, Dave?
From our awesome t-shirts.
We printed up our own wonderful, again, thanks to Daniel, my nephew, who also doesn't listen, for our excellent logo, because didn't it look great on those t-shirts?
It did. It looked great.
Yeah, really cool. Really professional job he did. So it just shines on that sort of format. And yeah, we walked around in our matching polo shirts, not quite matching, but very similar polo shirts.
My QR code worked. No one ever scanned it though, as far as I know.
No, but we did have an uptick of people not listening but finding us on Spotify and YouTube on the 21st.
Oh, okay.
There's a little uptick in both graphs, which I think is interesting.
People may have just searched for it and found it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So thank you if you did, and if you're listening to us and you were there, hi, drop us a comment, say hello, and we're probably going to go back in September, the next one, and hopefully I won't put on too much weight and still fit into the t-shirt, so you'll still know it's us.
You could have mine, I'll buy a bigger size.
Andy, the main guy at the Retro Computer Museum, and Simon appear to be sort of the two figureheads, shall we say. I think they mentioned a third. They told a great story when we were sitting around at the end about how for weeks and weeks when they first opened, it was just them sort of knocking around and fixing machines and playing stuff. And then one day sort of a family sort of knocked on the door and went, "Can we come in?" And they were like, "Customers, actual people want to come in." Which is great, which we liken to getting a comment on our stuff. Just a comment, damn it. So when we realised that not everybody that appeared to be listening to us was a bot, it was a really magnificent moment. So we know that feeling. So thank you again, all of you, for listening.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're even slightly close to Leicester, pop along to the Retro Computer Museum. It's great. Really, really good.
Full day. You can have a full day in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're a big fan of Outrun 2.
Yeah.
Which we played a lot of.
Yeah, far too much.
Yeah, well, I don't think they could ever have too much. Oh yes, thank you to Andy and the Retro Computer Museum for letting us leave a big stack of flyers behind. So hopefully some people will pick them up and we'll get a few new listeners who actually care. A lovely bunch.
They were very welcoming, very knowledgeable.
Yes.
Good day.
Yeah, Dave was playing a full arcade cabinet version of Astro Wars, wasn't it? Which was
the old desktop thing that my sister used to have.
Yeah, so one of those sort of powered by 4D sized batteries that you used to have and would burn through them in about an hour. One of those LCD machines. And Dave was playing like a full-side arcade cabinet version of it, and we were chatting later, and they were like, "Yeah, Rebecca made that," and that's what this place is like. These volunteers they really know their stuff. They're really into it, and it's just a really great place. So if you're a regular listener to us, you'll know that we tend to talk about music and sound as a bit of an afterthought when we're doing games. And I think that is because no other game has got Louie Louie as its main theme tune. If you want to lose about 7 hours of your life, Google the song Louie Louie. It's incredible. The amount of stuff that has been written about that song, the amount of versions of that song, the most recorded rock song in the history of music. It's absolutely insane. The various stories about Louie Louie. Because have you ever heard, the Kingsman is the most famous version of the song. It came 6 or 7 years after the original, but it is the most famous version of the song. And it's unintelligible. You can't understand what they're singing at all. Not only is it unintelligible as an original recording, the time it came out, 60s, I think.
63, I think.
63, yeah.
I remember
so
right.
You think you're listening to it, you're probably hearing it on a crackly AM radio. You know, I mean, it's in all this stuff is basically no idea what it was about. And so all these myths and things come about it. And the film Coupe de Ville, which isn't a great film, but there is a great sequence in it where it's about three brothers on a road trip, and each of them has got their own interpretation of what the song is about. And this was the first time I'd ever been aware that there was this cult of urban legend around Louie Louie. And I'd kind of forgotten about that until I Googled it in research for this thing. It's genuinely fascinating. A really, really rich and varied history. Did you pick up any particular stories?
There's one that I really like, and it's one of the reasons that the vocals are so garbled is that the microphone for the singer to sing into was suspended 3 feet above his head on a giant boom arm. So he's literally stood, like, I think he's on a stool trying to shout up into the microphone. And that's why the vocal is so bad. There's a couple of stories about one of the ones I've known for a long, long time, but I couldn't find it online when I was looking around for it. There was a thing in the garage rock scene of the early 60s where anybody could play any song, but as soon as somebody recorded one and released it, it was sort of their song, effectively, within the scene. It was quite an amicable thing of sharing songs that people had written. And there is a story where a rival band were trying to break into the recording studio while the Kingsmen were recording their version to try and beat them up and stop them recording this song. But like I said, I can't find any mention of it. I can't remember where I heard it. I think it's on the classic albums documentaries they do on like a specific album.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It was something like that. It was some sort of music documentary program that I saw years and years ago. But I may have dreamt the whole thing and just made it up.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it now, so it's gone.
But that's what this song has about it. For some reason, it's fucking 70 years ago. So, obviously things have come a long way. It was recorded as live. They played it live in the studio, and that's what was recorded. To the extent that there's a mistake after the guitar solo, the singer comes in too soon, and it's on the recording. It's on the one that you can find on YouTube. You listen for it, you can hear him come in.
There's another one, the one with the drummer where he fucks something up. He goes, "Ah, shit."
Yeah. And it's all on there. And so, it's just a completely different time. It's kind of regarded as the first grunge song, really. And that's kind of all part of it. It's just a great, great tune. Have you got a favourite version other than that one that you've heard?
I particularly like the Motorhead version.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had the Motorhead version on... They did a re-release of Ace of Spades in the early to mid-90s, and that was one of the B-sides. So I've known of the Motorhead version for like 30 years, and that's still a classic for me.
Back in the 90s and 2000s, I was much, much cooler than I am now. So
no, you weren't. You just thought you were.
I've somehow found this. It's a band called the Cato Sousa Experience and The Thing with Joe McPhee. Their version of the song. It's just a bunch of jazz noise going on. It really is, and you have to be really like the Fast Show. Wank. You really, it's very much a hardcore free jazz, they call it, kind of a thing. So, and they're basically playing around with their music, and to the untrained ear like myself, it just sounds like a band warming up. I mean, like lots of noise, and it completely naturally free form becomes Louie Louie, and it's great for the sort of 3 minutes they do that, and then it goes back into the hardcore free jazz noise. But that's my favorite version because it just happens completely organically. It's very, very cool.
I'd like to challenge you to listen to all the versions of it.
I mean, there is not enough time left on this earth for me.
there are over 2,000 recorded versions of it.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a book called Louie Louie, The History and Mythology of the World's Most Famous Rock and Roll Song. And the quote from it is the best of songs, it is the worst of songs.
And I think that there's versions of California games that don't have it, and it really does feel like a loss.
It does seem like it's missing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just that the two things just go together.
Yeah, I don't think it had it in the Amstrad version.
Oh, it wouldn't have done. Or the Spectrum. I doubt. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think the choice versions omitted it.
I'm not sure the Mega Drive version does actually.
I don't remember it.
I know there is a thing where they moved a lot of the music around on the Mega Drive version.
Yeah,
and it was also missing an event, which I've forgotten now.
Flying disc.
Rather than skating.
If there's an event that's missing, it's Frisbee.
Well, the Lynx has only got 4 events: surfing, BMXing, hacky sack, and
half pipe.
So they're the action events and the hacky sack.
It's easy to program.
I love on the hacky sack that if you kick the ball off the left or right of the screen, it gets thrown back on. Yeah. And in most versions, it does a little whistle, like someone's going, "Here you go, mate," and throwing it back on. And you can carry on your combo if you were on one when it went off the screen.
I was watching a video earlier, YouTube channels like something like Nintendo Completist or Nintendo Complete. And he goes through, plays every event, obviously well practiced, rehearsed, but it's the only time I've ever seen anybody get one at least of every single move.
Oh, okay.
Because when you finish the event, you get the list of moves.
Yes.
No indication of how to do them.
Nope.
But how many times you performed each move. For me, it's 5 in a row, 6 times, fuck all else. I might get the odd half axle because I remember that you can turn round after about 20 minutes of playing it.
Back in the day, I got everything on the list, but
in one go.
I must have done because it doesn't show up otherwise. I remember there's a thing called a double doda, which was the hardest.
Right.
Which I think is the one that's like an arch over your head, and you have to do it twice. And that's
double arch.
Double arch, yeah, that's really hard.
I don't know what a dodo is. I couldn't figure that one out.
Yeah, I can't remember now either. But yeah, I was a long way off that now. It's the one that I struggled with the most compared to how good I used to be.
Yeah.
Because I used to play it on the C64 and not drop that hacky sack from start to finish. I was amazed at the difference in my score on the flying disc compared to the highest score ever. So my best score playing the other day on flying disc, because it's scored. It's not about how far you throw it or anything like that. You get a score, and distance is part of it. But I scored 440 points. The world record is 1600.
I got 440 with my one catch.
Was it a diving catch?
No.
On what version?
Master System.
Yeah, see, this is another thing. They're completely incomparable in their scoring.
Yeah, I was going to say, the scoring's the exact same on every version?
No, they're not. They're really not. And they're different, even like in terms of the surfing, on some levels it's just a score. On some versions, it's just a score. Whereas on the C64 and a couple of others, you're marked out of 10 by 4 different judges. And during my my summer of California games, I got to the point where I was 4 10s because just played it like nothing else. It just absolutely hooked me on my own. I mean, what is generally considered a multiplayer game and is much more fun to play. All these games, anything like this, is much better as a 2-player game. I've played it almost exclusively as a single-player game, high score chasing, always.
Pretty much every single Amstrad game I owned was a single-player experience. I think the only exception to that I can think of was Gauntlet, where I'd be playing it on keys and my mate would be playing it on the joystick. Yeah. Back in those days, you didn't have a big desk with your computer set up, did you? You had a pokey little room if you were lucky.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
A single chair that probably creaked and fell apart every time you sat on it. Yeah. The idea of the computer in the home as like a shared family thing just didn't exist. Well, not for me anyway. No,
I don't think so either. And it's I had friends who played computer games, and it was computer games then because consoles weren't really about that much. But sort of, I don't think anyone ever came round my house to play on the Spectrum. And there were 2-player games. Right? I played a shit ton of Where the Exploding Fist, which is a 2-player game. I don't think I ever had a fight against a human being in my life. on that game. I mean, I'm sure for lots of people it was, but not for me.
I think it depends more if you had a sibling who was interested in playing the same games.
Yeah, it's funny enough, my brother who got the Spectrum and the Commodore 64, the Commodore 128, I don't know why he got them, because he never played them. never ever played them. It's just bizarre. He was never really into it. Peculiar. But yeah, I'm glad, because wouldn't have had them otherwise. Anything else to say about California games?
A couple of little nuggets, one of which I'll save for later.
Okay.
But there's various little things. The sponsorship. I wanted to just talk about the sponsorship for a little while.
Yes.
When you start the game, in every single version, you put your name in.
Yeah.
Name another game of that era that does that. You're just player 1 and player 2.
Ghostbusters.
Shut the fuck up. In every other game, you're just player 1 or player 2. There's no enter your name unless you get a high score table at the end, which is a different thing. So all the way through it calls you by your name.
Yeah.
Dave, first attempt at surfing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And part of that process is picking a sponsor, which I'd completely forgotten. I couldn't remember this at all. I saw it for the first time in, let's say, 35 years. It's got to be since I last played California games. Yeah. Couldn't remember it at all. And I was looking at the names on the list. And there's Santa Cruz Skateboards, which is a real company. There's Frisbee Official. Yeah. There's a couple of others. I couldn't remember it at all. And it's in the Amstrad version, which is the version that I played. And I just sat there looking at it like, I don't remember this at all.
I didn't remember it being real companies. That's the bit that took me by surprise about it. I thought it was, funny made up stuff, but no, that's real company. Obviously, Epix is one of them, the people who made the game, which I guess shows the cultural gulf between American early extreme sports and a council flat in England. Santa Cruz, what's that? It's like one of the biggest skateboard brands. Obviously, I knew what a fucking Frisbee was, but I probably didn't know at the time that Frisbee was a brand name.
No, it's a thing. It's a flying disc that you throw.
Yeah.
Rad magazine, which is the skateboarding magazine that I used to buy when I say used to buy, I bought once in the early 90s. Which, weirdly, I still have, and it's got a poster of Jason Lee in it.
No.
The pro skater turned actor Jason Lee is in the one issue of Rad magazine that I owned.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
No, you make an interesting point about sponsors. It was all very much... It's almost like something out of a different type of game, isn't it? That's the sort of thing... That sort of level of detail was in...
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's a pointless level of detail.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't change anything. It doesn't make you better at a particular event. Because that's one of the things I thought when I started to look at it for the first time in 35 years. Oh, wait, does that make you better at the skating event, or does that make you better at the Frisbee event? No. You're still dog shit at everything.
You're still dog shit.
I'm still dog shit at everything. Yeah.
But I think that comes off the back of Epix started as a computer software company. There's a story which is apparently untrue, but it's about the internet everywhere. It's kind of almost, it's been repeated so often that people believe it, and the guy involved. So the guy who started Epix software, the story is that he got his first computer and developed a game for it, because if you developed a game for it and sold it, you could write the computer off as a tax thing. Probably says it on Wikipedia, it's probably around, but I listened to a thing with somebody who said that they'd done an interview with him, and he said, no, it's not true. I did write the game on it, and I did write it off as a tax thing, but one wasn't because of the other. They weren't like, he didn't do it to do that. Those are just two things that happened in isolation. Which is a nice story. But yeah, the sort of games he was making were very much computer games. He came out of the sort of the very, very early Dungeons and Dragons scene, like the first version of D&D. So that was kind of that's where he came from. So I can see that sort of little bit of level of detail, and that I guess maybe that comes from there. I think he wanted to make action sim type genre. I can't remember what he actually wanted to call it, but his whole thing was he wanted to make this sort of hybrid of high levels of complexity. Oh, it was Pit Stop. Remember Pit Stop, the driving game? That's an early Epix game.
Yeah.
And so they're sort of having a racing game, but having that level of strategy of being able to do a pit stop. Nothing had really done that before, and so that was his thing, to like take an action genre and then add a level of strategy to it. So he wanted to sort of do that as a as like a new crossover genre, and as successful as Pit Stop was, because it's actually a very good Pit Stop. I remember playing that quite a lot. But it never really took off as a thing. But it's just quite interesting that again you come back to California Games and you've got the sponsor that does nothing, and you're putting your name in which does nothing other than just adds an extra level of kind of polish, really, and a little bit of extra interest as you're doing it. I would imagine that's kind of how that came about. A gentleman called Chuck Somerville, he programmed while he was at Epix the half pipe version, the half pipe game. Because why all the games play slightly differently. You've got this is because they were developed by different people at the company. Epix was one of the first companies to have teams working on games rather than just you go and make that and then we'll publish it. And maybe we'll get the kid who's on work experience to do your really terrible cover for it if you're lucky. But Chuck Somerville he was at Epix during the whole games period. That he'd been through the summer games and that, and he said to him at the time it felt like a bit of a churn doing the games as sort of quite high quality as they were as products. It was just like, oh yes, let's do it again but better or different. But the California Games was a bit more of a freeform sort of passion thing. It just Chuck Somerville was a skateboarder, so he got to program the skateboarding bit. But he was the guy who invented Chip's Challenge.
Yes.
Entirely his game. So Chip's Challenge, which is a fascinating story in its own right. Again, I don't think we'll ever do a Chip's Challenge episode. I know it and I like it, but I'm not particularly passionate about it. People love this game to the extent that it's had like a community building it for different systems, building extra map packs and things for it, and all endorsed by Chuck Somerville, because he for a long time lost the rights to Chip's Challenge to a company who are basically creating, I think it's religious literature. They're a church basically.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a really bizarre thing. And for a long time, he was trying to get the rights to his game back off this company, and they were just going, oh yeah, okay, give us fucking $1 billion. Just being completely fucking mercenary about the whole thing, even though they had no intention to do anything with it at all. When he eventually got the rights back, it was a deal to get it done. That means he has still never made a penny off the original Chip's Challenge. There's a game called Chuck's Challenge out there, which is his pseudo sequel. So if there is a way to pay for that, go and give Chuck Somerville some money. And
it's on Steam.
There you go. Go and buy Chuck's Challenge. I mean, what you're doing there is giving Gabe Newell some money, because the amount of percentage Steam take is horrendous.
Unless you buy it 30,000 times. Then he might get a buck or two.
Yeah, if you're lucky. But yeah, his 2015 Chip's Challenge 2 finally came out. Yeah, so he was the guy who programmed the half pipe on the original version of California Games. I think California Games might be one of the most ubiquitous video games ever created.
I think it's lacking behind Tetris, which has literally come out on everything ever. I think it's been retrospectively created on consoles that didn't exist when Tetris came out.
Yeah, but I think that's a different sort of subset. Yeah. In original releases, there is a video board game of California Games.
Is there?
It's a board game with a VHS video that you play.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to play that.
It's not actually that expensive. I did eBay it.
Yeah.
Have a look at it. Yeah, you can still get it fairly easily. And you can watch the video sections on YouTube. Again, obviously, just Google it. It's quite funny.
Awesome.
Original written for the Apple II and Commodore 64. So those are the original versions. Mm-hmm. And then you had the Amiga, the Atari 2600, the Atari ST, DOS, Genesis, PC, ZX Spectrum, NES, MSX, Master System, and Atari Lynx. And then there was the absolute shit show of a sequel that was California Games 2, which
there was also a mobile version.
Was there?
Which looks awful, truly bad. Just one thing before we come away from the people involved in the project.
Yes.
The guy who designed the Footbag game was a guy called Ken Nicholson, who invented DirectX, which is the basis of all Windows games.
Christ.
He's one of the most important people in the history of PC gaming, and no one knows who he is.
Lots of people from Epix went on to do quite big stuff. A lot of them were picked up at Atari, but also went on to other companies. And obviously it was a young industry with young people in it, so they were around a long time in the industry afterwards. And it's really interesting if you dig around some of those names. Again, we're not going to go into it here because it doesn't make particularly fascinating content, but it does make for an interesting way to spend your lunch hour bundling through the internet, following around the fortunes of Epics and their staff. But yeah, California Games 2, god awful. Do not bother. Interestingly, it was going to be an Atari Lynx sequel, but it never made it.
The console was dead.
Yeah, sadly so. The light that burns twice as bright burns half as long.
And you have burned so very, very brightly. One more little nugget of information for you.
Give us a nugget.
The Amiga port of California Games was done by Westwood, who went on to make the Command & Conquer games.
Really?
Yeah, very, very early on. They were called a different company at the time. They're Westwood Associates rather than Westwood Studios. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I mean, back in those days, I guess anybody would port anything to anything. Here's some money. Do us a job. Yeah, okay. Thanks. That'll keep us going for a week.
Yeah, cheers. It's quite rare in these multi-sports games. Most of them are fairly button mashy. Sort of International Track and Field is a game that might well get its own episode at some point in the future. And I think it would be disingenuous to say that the games by Epics are like that, because they're not. They're never button mashy. That's not how they work. If you've got to get speed up, then there's stuff like in Winter Games, there's a biathlon event, and you have to manage your heart rate. So you basically have to move. You're doing the whole left to right thing,
but you've got to be smooth.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Not speed. Very, very cool. They always were about more than who can mash the buttons the fastest. Always. All these events over all these many games they put out, there is not one bit of button. Oh, there might be like to run on a javelin or something like that, but there's always
I was going to say
something else.
On Track and Field, you used to have the button mash to run. But there'd be the timing of when to press the button to start your jump, the angle of the jump, that sort of thing. There's always a little bit more than just bashing the buttons.
Yeah, but I think mainly in the vast, I say over that series of games, Summer Games, Winter Games, Summer Games 2, Winter Games 2, World Games, California Games, I'm not sure there's any just flat out button mashing.
It's certainly not in this, certainly not in California Games.
No, absolutely not. No, I mean the closest is the whole up and down thing on skating, and that's not the reason skating is terrible.
No.
The reason skating, which is roller skating, is terrible is because your character is fully capable of tripping over a grain of sand.
I do love the animation though, when she lands, face plants into the floor and then just bangs the floor with her hands like a petulant child. I mean, interesting, on like the early versions, she is more like sort of a young girl, like, you know, a tween or a teen, and sort of in different versions she gets more and more sexualized, and in the end I think the Mega Drive version, I think she's in a bikini. But it doesn't start off that way. I thought that was quite an interesting sort of evolution of that character. Yeah. But in there too, they were very aware when they made it that they trying to appeal to male and female audience, which is an interesting thing. In early games that was quite common. You look at the adverts and the box art for a Pong machine, and it's got an entire family around it. It looks like an advert for the Wii. It really does. And this was how games started, and then all the horrible fucking bro culture and nastiness sort of came in over time, to the point that when the Wii did come out and absolutely smash sales records by appealing to entire families, the response from all the bros was, oh, it's for fucking kids and women. Yeah.
Wankers. So yeah, they're interested in that 40 odd years it came full circle.
I was just having a think, saying about the characters in the game. There's the very famous box art for this game is just the sort of lower portion of people's legs,
neck down, isn't it?
Variously with a surfboard, a bikini bottoms, BMX and a skateboard. There was a recent post on a group that I'm in on Facebook, which has got like 150,000 odd people, and somebody was on a quest to try and find the original picture, the original photo of what the rest of it looked like. Somebody has asked AI to fill out the gaps.
Oh, wow.
So there is this like AI version of what that original image looks like. But as far as I know, it's lost to time. It's gone. It's just not out there. I love the idea of it being somebody who's now famous.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
The cast of Friends randomly met in 1987 for this photo shoot that none of them remember.
There is a chance, depending on which version of the game you played, you won't know the box art that Dave's talking about, because the original box art for the C64 was not that image. It was like a hand-drawn depiction of all of the different events in the game. But yeah, I think it was the Mega Drive version that first had that box art, the photograph.
Was it?
With all the... Yeah, it was definitely a later version.
Oh, okay.
Because my Commodore and Spectrum ones that I own definitely have that box art. I don't have the box for my 2600 and Master System versions, unfortunately. But yeah, it was definitely the sort of that came along later.
Yeah,
I've just noticed that the one girl on that. So there are 4 people on that cover, and the girl's pulling double duty. I've never noticed that before. She is representing both frisbee and roller skating.
Frisbee, which isn't on that version, if that's only the Mega Drive version.
This is speculation from me. I just know it wasn't on the home computer versions that I owned. It appears that it is or was originally a US stroke a North American / European divide. So the European cover was this, it's hand drawn, but it's clearly hand drawn over photographs to a certain extent, cartoony style box art, and the American version was the pictures with the heads cut off and the girl in the bikini. And then there was the sort of the second run, there was the company called Kix, the KIXX.
Oh yeah.
There was a third version that came out for that. There's even a different, and that's a hand illustrated one as well. So yeah, so we go. We learned something today.
Yeah.
I've mentioned before the Playdate.
Oh yeah.
Little, if you don't know the Playdate, you'll have to Google it to really understand it. But it's a little tiny console. Looks a bit like a deformed Game Boy, but like a 16th of the size. And one of the earliest games that came out on that was a game called Whitewater Wipeout, which is basically the surfing from California games. But you control it with the crank, so you use the crank to move up and down the wave, and then when you do a jump off the top of the wave, you spin the crank to do the turns. And it is a lot more forgiving than California games. Literally, you can go off the wave and come back onto it at whatever damn angle you like, as long as you're not arse first. You'll land it. But it's really good fun. It's just a really nice little high score chase. Again, you get a time limit and a certain amount of time to do stuff, and it's really good to bang after. I believe it's got online leaderboards as well, which is a really nice little thing that the Playdate games do, because a lot of them are quite arcadey in nature. Because they're usually quite simple, so it's a format that works really well. But yeah, that's I mean, I think the amount of people with a Playdate, I think the crossover between the Playdate and listeners to this podcast, I think that's quite a small Venn diagram. I think it might just have me in the middle of it. The Venn diagram of people who own a Playdate and haven't played Whitewater Wipeout, God, that's hard to say, is also tiny. But by some miracle you haven't. And also, I mean, it's not the same, obviously, because the interaction, you can play it on the whole sort of not quite open source but very open nature of games for the Playdate is anybody can make them, so you can get the dev kit and sort of emulation from the site that sells the machine, and so you can play these games, but you'll be playing them on a format that is completely wrong, unless you could do a Playdate emulator for the Dreamcast and then use the Sega Bass fishing controller. All right, go on. Somebody out there, make that happen.
Love it.
Anyway, yes. Whitewater Wipeout, which is it looks like if you saw it running, you would go, that's a port of California games. It really is that close a match for it, but it plays very different and is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Which, some people, Dave, would say California games isn't.
I don't know what you mean. It's one of those that I'm happy to leave. Much like the Retro Computer Museum, it's one of those I'm happy to leave on the shelf and let other people discover.
Every now and again in this podcast, we like to stamp on Dave's rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
And I feel that's...
The trouble is, there are some games that I remember really, really fondly. And obviously because I didn't know any better at the time. And when I go back to them, it's ruined. But I still have that memory. I still have that attachment to that game. I mean, I still, even after playing it this week, realizing how bad it is and how bad I am at it, I will still say to people, I used to love California games on the Amstrad.
Yeah.
Because I did. That fact hasn't changed. How I feel about it now has not changed how I felt about it then.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things about retro gaming, is if you loved it then, you'll go back to it now because you haven't had the chance to play it in 30 odd years, whatever. Yeah. And if it is shit now, well, whatever. It doesn't change how you feel.
No,
it shouldn't change how you feel about it.
No, I think it's a really great point. Because it doesn't replaying something and not enjoying it does not change the nostalgia. It's sometimes a little bit eye-opening and sometimes quite fascinating, but it doesn't. And it's much like people who get irate about cover versions and remakes of films. Doesn't matter if they did a remake of Blade Runner, doesn't matter how shit it was, it wouldn't change how good the original is.
Yeah,
I mean, you could remake Apocalypse Now and it could star Adam Sandler.
No, it'd be Owen Wilson. It'd be Apocalypse Wow.
Anyway, yes. Drinks. Off you go then.
Well, as usual, I have two.
Of course.
One which is an awesome pun / story, and one which is a cocktail I actually want to drink. So the first one is in the foot bag or hacky sack section. There is a seagull flying above your head.
There is a seagull.
Have you ever hit the seagull with the hacky sack?
Yes, on just about every version, yes.
Okay. Can you remember what the seagull's name is?
Oh, because it comes up at the bottom, doesn't it?
It does on certain versions, not all of them.
Is it Frank?
No.
No, I can't remember. I remember it does come, yeah.
On the Commodore 64 version, it comes up with seagulls always get revenge, which I thought was quite sinister. But on the Master System version, it just comes up along the top. It just says, "You hit George." My takeaway from all of my time playing California games was just George the fucking seagull in the footbag section with the glorious backdrop of the Golden Gate Bridge, which gets progressively shitter on the worse versions of the game.
This is true.
Yeah, so I found a cocktail called The George.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Which is on a website called lepetitgourmets.com. It seems to be a blog by a woman called...
Did you just say gourmet?
Gourmets.
Oh, okay.
So it's not gourmet, it's gourmets. And it seems to be a blog by a woman called Linda Hopkins, who posted this during the COVID lockdown, like April 2020. But she put a spin on an Ocean's 11 cocktail and renamed it the George in honor of George Clooney. But it sounds like quite a nice cocktail. It's probably worth a look. It's 3 ounces of Blanco tequila, 3 ounces of grapefruit juice, ounce of simple syrup, half an ounce of Amarino cherry syrup, 2 Amarina cherries with stems for garnish. It looks kind of like a, I don't know, weird orangey red colour. But I thought that sounded quite nice. And I like the joke, because George is my new favourite character. Because no one else in that game has got a name other than you.
Yeah. The roller skating girl called Andy.
Yes, that's it.
Or Dave.
But yeah, anyway, I like the George. I like the sound of the George.
It does sound very nice. Sounds like a drink.
Yeah, it'd be right up your street, wouldn't it? Tequila and grapefruit.
Grapefruit. Yeah, they are great bedfellows, tequila and grapefruit.
But the drink I've actually gone for is the Johnny California.
Yeah.
Because I had to get California in there.
Of course you did.
The game's dripping with it. You've got the Hollywood Hills in the background of the half pipe. You've got the Golden Gate Bridge in the background of the footbag section. You've got Venice Beach, I think it is, for the roller skating section. One of the big parks is for the frisbee, with its great sign of "Do not feed the bears."
Yeah.
Always makes me laugh.
It is. It's very much kind of the Hollywood version of California, is it? It's very much. Yes. It's very much the sort of the stereotypical night. It's like having a game set in London, and games in front of Tower Bridge and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's very much.
If you're going to call your game California Games, you have to have things in it that are from California.
Absolutely, yeah.
What else would you do? So yeah, Johnny California, which I like to think is the name of the protagonist in this epic plot of a game. But also it caught my eye because it's a drink that I really like the sound of. I'm going to have a go at making this because I've got some of these ingredients already. So it's 45 ml of Blanco tequila, 20 ml of limoncello, 50 ml of lemon juice, 10 ml of honey syrup, 3 drops of saline solution, and then 10 milliliters of egg white. So it's a flip without being called a flip.
I think to be a flip, it has to have a whole egg in it rather than just the white.
Ah, okay, fair enough. So it's select and pre-chill. Prepare the garnish of a coin-sized lemon zest twist. Dry shake all the ingredients without ice to emulsify. Shake again with the ice. Fine strain into a chilled glass. I think, I could be wrong, but I think this is the first cocktail, certainly that I've found, possibly that either of us have found, that was actually created by Simon Difford himself.
Oh, you know what? You say that. I think mine from the previous episode might have been.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's certainly the first one I've found because I've never found, well, not intentionally, I've just never picked one that's been one that he created.
It does sound good, that.
Yeah, it was created in 2023, November 2023, after reading a comment by Lou Cortine saying how good a tequila sour is when made with limoncello and lemon juice. Many thanks, Lou.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yes, many thanks, Lou, and Simon, and the whole Difford's crew, as always.
Yes, for making our job a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, if you want to make that job hard again, try measuring out 10 mil of egg white and tell me how that goes.
I told you before, you slice it. Put it on a flat surface on some digital scales and you slice it and then just flick it off the edge.
Both sound like really nice cocktails, mate. You've discovered really good there.
I think I'm going to keep the George as one to try out.
Yeah. Surely you've got, or no, you drank all your mezcal, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I drank all my mezcal very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's not Blanco tequila.
It's not, but it's not. It tastes very different.
But yeah, simple syrup, grapefruit juice. It's easy enough to get. Yeah,
you've got saline solution, haven't you, Dave?
I have got. Yeah, I've got Simon Difford's own salty water.
Ew. Quite handily, or such you can use aquafaba or vegan egg white. I guess that's probably easier to measure, isn't it?
There is a vegetarian or vegan alternative listed, which is called Veg.
Yes, I know that because actually on the ingredients for my cocktail.
Ah, there we go.
Which I'm looking at now. So we're both going for a bit of egg white.
So what have you got for us?
So, I found this quite early doors actually, and kind of latched onto it. And I'm gonna. It is a cocktail that exists, but I'm going to do a tweaked version of it, and it will be on Difford's by the time this episode's go out as a discerning drinkers cocktail, but it's a variation on a drink called the Commodore Number 1. So I'm going to tweak this recipe, and it will be on Difford's as the Commodore Number 128.
Oh, good. Very good.
Because the Commodore 128 was the version of California Games that I was apparently still in my muscle memory to play and love and adore, and it is to me, as we talked about in the Tetris episode, Tetris is on everything, but I think of it as a Game Boy game.
Yeah.
California Games is on everything, and I think of it as a C64 game. C64, C128, it's the same thing. But
it was originally developed for the C64, though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It was the first version.
That and the Apple II. Absolutely. And again, I think that Epix was born out of a software company rather than a game company, so probably the skills they had on board probably lent that way. But anyway, so I'll give you the ingredients for the Commodore Number 1, and then I'll tell you how I'm tweaking it. So the Commodore Number 1 is 45 ml of light white rum, 15 ml of normal brown rum is the easiest way to put it, 15 ml of lemon juice, 5 ml of sugar syrup, 2.5 ml of raspberry syrup, and 2.5 ml of grenadine syrup.
Wow, that's a small measure.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but as soon as you put the grenadine syrup in there, you're not tasting that raspberry anymore. No. I assume I didn't make it this way. I could have done it. I have all the ingredients, but I didn't make it this way. And then 15 milliliters of egg white in this one. So that's the number 1. And as with most of these drinks with egg white in, as Dave just described, you shake them without ice and then with ice. And it just comes together a bit better than it. Well, it's fine if you do it with the ice first off, but it comes together a bit nicer if you don't. And so that's the original recipe. But I didn't try that. What I did was take the base of that and create the Commodore number 128, which is 45ml of light white rum, Bacardi, 15ml of normal rum, 15ml of lemon juice, and then 10ml of raspberry liqueur, which I think the best known one is Chambord. I think that's a raspberry liqueur. I've got homemade raspberry liqueur because I have an abundance of raspberries fresh out of the garden, and in the entirety of last year's crop of raspberries has lived in my freezer until a couple of weeks ago when I made a couple of batches of raspberry and champagne sorbet, delicious, and some raspberry liqueur, which is basically sugar, vodka and raspberries. So a 10ml of that instead of all those different syrups, just 10ml of raspberry liqueur and then the 15ml of egg white. Comes out a gorgeous pink colour, which is a little bit 90s, but that's a bit tenuous. But and it's really, really nice. I garnished it with a raspberry. The garnish on Difford's is a cherry, a maraschino cherry, but I dunked a raspberry in there and it floated on top with its little bubbles and it looked great. I took a picture of it actually because obviously I genuinely am. By the time you're listening to this, you'll be able to go onto Difford's and look for the discerning drinkers submissions, and you will find the Commodore 128, which will be my spin on the Commodore number 1, which is a classic cocktail. This is from the Harry Craddock 1930s era. It's basically a daiquiri with a bit of egg white and some other bits in. Really tasty, really nice. I highly recommend it in whatever version you find. There's a number 2. The Commodore number 2 is made with bourbon, white creme de cacao, white creme de cacao. So it's basically chocolate flavoured liqueur with no colour, lemon juice and grenadine, which sounds vile to be perfectly honest with you. So I didn't try that.
Yeah, those chocolate liqueurs are an acquired taste.
They are, yes, absolutely. The number 3 is whiskey, lemon juice, sugar syrup, and orange Angostura bitters, which sounds very, very nice actually, but like completely different to the number 1. It's bizarre how different they are. I don't know what the relationship is between them really. I guess they emerged out of each other, but the number 1 is the one I riffed on to create the Commodore 128, which you'll find on Difford's Guide and nowhere else, who do not sponsor us. Despite the fact
quite the opposite, we give them money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like to clarify because we do mention them a lot, and I don't want people to think we're taking backhanders to mention them. It's just a great fucking resource, and we always end up there. So what is next?
Ikaruga.
Ikaruga. Still happy to do Ikaruga?
Oh God, yeah.
That's what I thought.
If you'd have asked me right at the very, very start, what would be the first vertical shoot 'em up you do on this podcast?
Yeah.
I would have sort of thought for a few minutes and then said probably 1942.
Yeah.
Because that's the genesis of it for me.
Yes.
I don't really count Space Invaders as a V-shmup because you don't move.
No, I don't think it is.
It's a big part of it. But yeah, 1942 is very dear to my heart.
So next time on Cocktail Mode, we're going to be talking about, I guess, one of the best known, least played vertical shooters of all time. It's one of those games that everyone's kind of heard of and kind of knows what's going on, but very few people have given a lot of time to in Ikaruga. So we'll be back to the Dreamcast, I believe. I know it came out on the GameCube as well, and there is there's a fantastic version on the Xbox Live Arcade, as it was called when it came out, and it's probably out on Steam by now as well. But
it's been out on Steam for years.
I know it's an arcade game. I will always think of it as a Dreamcast game, so we're back on that little beauty. So that'll be next time on Cocktail Mode, where gaming, like alcohol, is in our blood.